Hello, welcome. My name is Amy Samuel. I am the creative director at My Heart Creative, and I'm going to be recording this video for you today live. So if you're watching this video replay and later on, keep in mind that I might be interacting with live comments and questions. So I just want to put that out there. And also, before we get into our logo talks, I want to point out this beautiful painting behind me. This is by Micah Higley, and she is our featured artist in our studio right now. So I hope you enjoyed that during this video. We'll also be putting a comment in, a link in the comments to her blog so you can learn more about her and show her some love, follow her, and enjoy her art. So let's get started. Today I am talking about logo. Good logo design, it is a process. So we share our process, throughout our website, but nothing like talking live. And also I have some cool examples and images to show you what an actual logo process for one of our clients look like. A lot of it is behind the scenes, even stuff our clients don't see, so I hope you enjoy. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments. So this is our logo process, and our logo process is a little different every time depending on the project, but this is a good flow for how it usually goes. We start with a discovery meeting, and in that discovery meeting we talk about the project, the individual project needs, the company needs. We talk about, do you need a full custom logo design? Is this a logo tweak or a refresh? Is this something that you have sketched or tattooed on you for years that you want to get vectorized or turned into something that you can use as a visual part of your visual identity for your company? So we can really tackle any sort of project, and that discovery part of our process helps identify what we're doing. We've worked with all different sorts of startups and large companies. I like to give the example, if you have a company that has had a logo for a really long time, but maybe you didn't use the power of visual branding and it's only on a few business cards and it wasn't seen very much over the years, you might really consider a full logo redesign. If you have a logo that is something you have everywhere, it's on huge signs outside of multiple buildings, you've got 20 trucks with it on the side and it's on everybody's shirts, you might then consider doing a logo refresh so that you can move towards a better logo, get the tweaks that you want and need, but have maybe a slower transition towards that. Also, sometimes we can keep branded colors from past design pieces and then move just the actual form of it, so to keep some of the consistency from the past. So there's just so many ways to approach each project, and that discovery time helps us know what we're doing and a good strategy that works for your design and for your aesthetic, but also for your company and where you're at and your budget. So after discovery, we get into the design meeting. So in the design meeting, we will talk more. There's a lot of planning that comes before we even get into the graphics. So in the design meeting, we'll talk about things like why do you do what you do? Tell me about your competition or organization similar to yours. How are you different? What makes you special? We'll get into things like what kind of impression do you want to give when people get to know you and see your logo and start to become familiar with your brand. We'll talk about things like anything, even we'll talk about your audience. Who's your target audience? There are so many things that we cover in the design meeting. This particular one, we want to talk about your target audience, but also even you are part of the audience. So although we want to think about your users and your potential clients and your existing clients, we want to also create something that you love, because you'll put it on everything. You'll hopefully live with it for many years, and it'll be kind of part of you and the face of your company. So we just take in all of these factors, we dig in together, and that is our design meeting. well worth the time before we get going. It's almost like measuring twice, cutting once. So that is our design meeting. From there, then we go into the sketching and planning stage. So this is where we really, I feel like our creativity just shines and the creative energy is flowing here. Sometimes we will start with some word inspiration based on what was communicated in the design meeting. And so I'll get into some samples. So today we're going to be looking at a process for Willow Youth Mental Health and what we did for them. So some of the words that I wrote down, so I'll show you some of my sketches in just a moment, but I just wrote on here things like let go, surrender, connection, relax, spiritual path, flexibility, teamwork, adaptable, bendable, deep emotions, and connection. So these are some of the things that I wrote down to inspire the sketches. And then I just want you to know about this part of the process. We do sketches as we're brainstorming and planning out how this logo is going to be. So these are just a variety of the sketches that I did as I was working on this project. And this is actually the logo that they chose, so I'll show you that a little bit later on. You can kind of see how we just play with visuals, sketches, and kind of plan and get an idea for where we're going design-wise, and bringing in all the factors of everything that was discussed in the discovery and the design. So from sketch, we go into the computer. And this is the part where we get into really the graphic design portion of it, the computerized section. So we then, I'll take this off. I often look at fonts first. So I'll just do kind of just like a spewing brainstorm of all the fonts that I think could be possibilities. And I will maybe stand up so you can see those a little closer. So here are just some of the pages that I made trying different things. I think that one might be a repeat. Sometimes their fonts will be similar too. And you can kind of see how then I narrowed in on some of the fonts that I liked that were working for this vibe, for this creative, and picked another one here. This is actually the logo font in its original form that is on the final version. So that font exploration then leads to how then we get into the bringing in some of the visual, some of the design elements there, the picture-like forms. So you can see sometimes we'll print off the fonts in their original state and we'll start to play. This feels a little backwards. So this font I'm going to show you in its original state so you can see the difference. So if you look right here, you see the little loopy there on the W, and there was a few others. When we started getting into the planning of that, planning for the this is called type design. This is the typography that we do behind the custom. So it's not just typing out the words and leaving it there. There's so much work that goes into it. But that was some of the planning. How do I want to adjust these letter forms to make it stronger, a bigger impact, something a little more simplified that you can read really small and big. And so it's kind of an example, but you can see I was also sketching, thinking about what we would be doing. Welcome, friends, Lulu and Rainey. And then you can see here, again, I was picking out some of the fonts that I was liking and sketching on top of them, just thinking about how that could come together in a logo form. These are still just fonts, but you can see I did some sketching even on top of this one on the letter form, thinking about the customization that I would be doing there, graphics-wise. Okay, so remember, this is the computer phase, the graphics design phase. So we do the fonts, then we do playing with them a little, and then we get into really honing in on the options. So you can kind of see how this evolves, and this isn't always perfectly in order, but I started to play. You can see this is a little thinner than how I started to bring the letterforms a little thicker here. This is our option 1, but I started trying different things on the end of the W. And notice I'm working all in black and white, trying things in black and white, because at the end we will explore color, but we want to create something that's really strong in one color and for sure in black. And so that is why we work with a lot of grays and blacks. This sneaked onto this page, but you can kind of see how that icon came together. I was just trying different things here and then fine-tuning it, and then looking at the size and the proportion to how it relates. This one is also fun to me because you can see this is the original font, but I started customizing the letterforms here. This is just the start of it. I did that to communicate the flow, the waves of life, and what that represents. You can see the letterform started to change even more over here, getting towards that final option for that concept. So I'll take a pause here and say that we also, when we present logos, we provide options to our clients. So it's good to sometimes try, and you'll see a lot of what I'm showing here is just trial and error. We try and we show clients their options. For each of the logos are pretty unique and have different appeals to them, but they all could work for that brand. But some will speak more to the client than the other. And it is nice to see what you might not have. So while you're picking, because the logo is a big commitment, it should be something that stays with your company for a while. So something that everyone gets to know, something that is the mark, it's the face of your company. So it's nice to see kind of options. Maybe it isn't the logo you choose, this isn't the one that they chose, but it's nice to see what it could have been. It helps you feel even more confident in your choice and commitment to that brand consistency over time. So here was another one. You can kind of see as I was playing with some of the little elements, trying some branch work with the W and the Y. And here, some more of that. Here, you can just see the evolution. Now this is the one that they actually end up choosing. I don't know if I should have revealed that so early, but this is one they end up choosing, and this one is inspired by obviously the willow leaf, the bending and needing to be flexible in life, but also there's a lot of round edges to this logo. It's round as a whole as well. That kind of represents the professionals and the families coming together to take care of each other, to bring ideas together, to grow, evolve as a unit, improving and flowing and moving towards progress and health, a healthy mind. Here's a little bit more of that. So trying different styles, would it be something that has thick and thins? Would it be really, really thick, a little more thin? So a lot of trial and error. And you can see it evolving into a stronger mark here. And here, trying different arrangements. So this is all part of that just process of getting to the right computer graphic design there. So here was the last one. Oh, this shows better how the letterforms were tweaked to then make it a stronger reading where you can read Willow a little better. And then also trying, a title case, all lowercase, all caps. There you'll see a lot of that in these documents that I'm showing. And this one actually right here. So I will show you the actual designs that I showed the client in just a moment. But this one is something that I came back to my working file and I created that merged, if you see that guy, that merge two different concepts together as an option. So that is also part of creating a custom logo, is getting that feedback and revising, tweaking, and trying again. So there was some more just honing in on the options. So I'll bring this back up in just a minute, so I'll set it to the side. All right, hopefully you can tell we love this. All right, so that is going to the computer graphics and getting the design files ready, the proofs ready to show the client. All part of the process. So now we have what we then show. So we don't show everything, and there's even more working files probably that I even didn't show through that packet. But now we have to hone in on what is really successful. What do we as professionals doing logos time and time again know that's going to work for you? What are the best options out of the group there? So that is what I will show you now. So here's option one. So what we try to do is show, now we just really are honing in on the options. So we're saying, take a look at it by itself in a clean way, and then also take a look at your logo. Although we're still keeping it black and white here, we're bringing it a little bit to life with some options. How does this look on an envelope, or if it's worked into some picture element? How does it look? Sometimes you'll see in our logos designs a primary, a secondary option. It might be a vertical and a horizontal. So that's what we show, and we always give a description rationale for what we're thinking here. Here's the next one. Sometimes, even though we're working in black and white, we do go ahead and show colors within different opacities of black to represent where we think color might shine nicely. Hi, Audrey. So you can kind of see I used a lighter gray here because I anticipated some color there. And then again, you can kind of see how that logo looks when it's played with, when the icon is pulled out and used as a mark by itself, when it's together, when it's maybe you need to have a secondary option of a horizontal. So that is what we're showing. So that was option two. Now we always show three. Sometimes we will show a little bit more. This particular project we, I believe, showed 5. So you can see here, just taking a really good look at each logo and the form of it, the shape, before making decisions or revisions. This is the one they chose. So you can see, I don't know if you remember, but some of my early work had an extra stroke around it. We simplified it, kept it really subtle. This is just, feels really peaceful. I love this logo. So this is the one they chose. I'll set it to the side to compare it in a moment. Here it is being used kind of as a overlay, showing how it could be used in a horizontal option if needed. And then this is the last option. So there it is. This is the other one that they did like, that the client was considering. So there is that. And then again, we explore, how is this going to come to life? So there's that. Now, then we do a compare. So this is all part of the process towards a good logo. So we just take a look at the options, the final options, and compare, and then choose. So from here, we're choosing the form, no colors right now. So this particular client wanted to try a version merging this logo and this logo. So I'll show you them separately. And then here is the one I was telling you about earlier, which is the merge. So what we did is we used the same tag style from this option. We brought the branch down as like an after, it's very backwards, working on the video. A branch down here is just like a nice additional element that obviously represents the willow tree. and extending a branch, and something that they could use with some imagery later, but also as, you know, a nice little element there. But also we even did tweaks when we delivered this to these letter forms to feel a little bit more in line with this option. And if I remember right, we even did some minor tweaks to the lettering before we even showed that option. But it did take some customizing to get them working together, but I think what we brought together was actually a pretty good option. But sometimes, again, it's nice to see maybe what you don't choose, because this client chose at the end to go with the first thing that they originally chose. So that is the proofing concept stage. So after concept, we do the revisions, which I just talked through. So the revisions is just, sometimes it could be, hey, you know, I love how that image works with that particular letter. Can we try that on this option, because I like the all caps version over here. It could be, I want to merge these two together because I just love them both. I can't decide. There's so many different things that we can revise for. Maybe, hey, I love that, but can you make this part a little bit smaller, a little bigger? So it's a custom revisions process to get the logo that you love and can commit to. So that's the revisions, and then we go into color. So color is really fun to show too, because we get to bring that logo fully to life. So I'll show you how that looks. This we really try to stick to 3 because there are so many colors and it can be hard to choose. So here are the color options for this logo. So again, they can all work for the client, for the project at hand, but it may, you know, there's various things that could inspire this. It could be older, old brand colors that we need to carry through. It could be that there's a parent company that has one color palette and you need to always use the blue from it, but you can have your own palette. It could be just straight from scratch. We are open to anything, or I hate red. Don't say that, but it could be anything. So we explore color. So we explore how the color will apply to the logo. We also explore a full palette. So in this particular logo, there's actually 3 colors applied to it, but there's 5 colors in the palette. So we do this because although you might not have a full rainbow applied to your colors, you might need to have a palette that represents more pieces of the visual identity. So you might have a brochure that maybe does use this cream, or you know you're going to have that cream as, you know, a bag, or it's the peaceful tone that lets the stronger colors come to life. So, and then we also look at the reversed out version of the logo so that you can see your logo when it's all white and maybe on color. So this is option 1, and then this is another option. I should say, which option do you think they picked? But I will tell you. So you can kind of see just a different vibe here. Slightly different because we felt like green was a good color for them. And then the last one was just a little bit more lively. I would say this one had some more cooler tones to it. This is a little bit more warm because of the pinky color, the cream there, and the purple. And then this one had some brighter greens and even some more playful colors over here. So all good options. The client picked this one. So super happy about that. I love this option. And then from there, we can tweak too. We do sometimes have revisions that need to be done to the logo colors. So you might say, hey, you know, I love this palette, but I don't want this color, so we can remove it or replace it. Or you might say, I love everything about this palette, but when it applies to the logo, I really just want to see it all green. It could be, you know, any type of needed revision, or like we said before, something you just want to try to point you to the right choice. So that's the color phase and the revisions to the color. Okay, we are so close. that's all my pictures, so don't be sad. But from here is one of the most crucial parts to getting a good logo and why it is a process to get a good logo. So we know the form now that you've chosen. We know the colors you've chosen. Now it's time to get it ready for you to use. So from here, we take your approved, your chosen perfect logo and we package it for you. We take that logo file in its color form and usually black and even reversed out white version, and we make multiple file formats for you. So we give you vector files like .ai, .eps, .pdf. We then give you pixel-based files like PSD, PNG, JPEG. We can also help you understand what each of those files are for and why you need them and where you'll use them. As your creative ally, we can work together to make sure you know your files, you know what they're for. But the goal is that you have all the right files to use this logo right away and for a long time, consistently and correctly. In that logo file package that we provide, we then also provide you a logo guidelines document. So this is a PDF that we supply to all of our clients that shows all of the different pieces to your logo. Is it a primary version, a secondary version, the icon? You kind of know what's in your logo. It is also the color codes so that you can make orders through t-shirt vendors or sign companies, and all those color codes are there so you know where you're going with your logo. And we also we handpick Pantone colors together to place that on your color guidelines document. That way, if you do ever have a request for what your Pantone color is, you'll have that and you'll know what to do. So that is our logo process. A good logo, it is a process. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I do want to let you know that if you have a special logo project that you would like to work on with us, we would just love to hear about it. We're going to leave a comment and we're going to leave a link in the comments to go look at our logo portfolio. And we love working with our clients, collaborating right with you, talking through all of this. It's not as fun to show paper. I wish you could hear some of the communications back and forth, but we would just be happy to collaborate with you. So get in touch with us if you would like to work on your project, and you can email us at info@myheartcreative.com. If you have any questions and to book your project or have a discovery meeting, send us an email. And you can also go to myheartcreative.com to see and learn more about us. And like I said, in the comments for the live version, you will see a link to our logo design portfolio. So I hope you enjoyed learning about the logo process and what all goes behind creating a graphic. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.